to another exciting training video on using the Banner CMS software. In this video, we are going to create new content from scratch using the Banner Editor. We are going to take a look at creating a few different messages to show you the different types of messages we can create and the different tools and capabilities that the editor offers. Let's go ahead and dive right in by clicking on the Create icon. And once we are in there, we have the option of creating a message from scratch using the editor or creating a message using a template on the Creative Engine. We will talk about the Creative Engine a little bit later, or you can watch the in-depth video on how to use the Creative Engine. Let's go ahead and click on the editor icon. The first thing it is going to ask is to name our new file. Be sure to give the file a unique name. If we give it the same name as another message that you have already created, then when we try to save the file, it will error out. So make sure that this is a unique file name. I'm going to call this message Pizza Special. And of course, we need to make sure that we are selected on our sign size. I only have a single display on my Banner account, so there is only one to choose from. However, if you have multiple displays, it is important to make sure you are selecting the correct display size when making the message. Now click the Create button. This will bring up our canvas, and we are now ready to create content. There are a few buttons or icons worth mentioning here. Across the top, there are a few zoom options. These will affect the size of your preview window. Some people like to work larger than actual resolution size. However, if you do zoom in, please make sure that before you send or save your message out to display, that you view your message at 100%. Viewing your message at 100% will give you an accurate representation of how your message will look on the sign. If it is difficult to read your message at 100%, then it will be difficult to read on the sign. I like to work right at 100%, so I will set it back. On the right, you will see the Preview, New Message, and the Save buttons. Over on the left-hand side are the creation tools. Using these icons, we can add pictures, text, backgrounds, time, weather, and even a link to the Creative Engine to bring in a background from the stock library. Speaking of backgrounds, I always like to begin a new message with my background. I am going to click on the background icon, which will then allow us to import an image from our computer or the content library. If you want to bring in a video, you will need to do that using the Add Image icon, as the backgrounds only allow you to import still images. The background will always auto-scale to fit the sign, so you may see some stretching or distortion to fit your image if it is not the same size as the sign. I'm going to click on Upload Your Image because the background I want to bring in I found on the internet and downloaded onto my computer right here. I'm going to select the file and click on Add Content down on the bottom. As you can see, Banner has scaled the image to fit our message size. If you notice to the right, a few more tools have popped up. From here, we can change the name of our message. We can also change the duration. This is the amount of time that our message will play on the sign. By default, it is set at 1 second, but I'm going to change that to 5. If you want to change the background out and just use a solid color, click on the background icon, and it will then allow you to select any color that you like using the color picker. If you have a specific color you want, you can enter its RGB value right here. I want to use the image, so I'm going to reselect the image button. Now comes the time to add our text and any other graphic elements that we want on this message. I want to start by adding a logo to this. To add a logo that will go on the top of the background, just click on the Add Image icon. I'm going to use this logo PNG file. As you can see, this is a very square logo, and I don't want to stretch it to fit. When you import an image using the Add Image icon, unlike the background icon, this will not auto-scale your image, but it will keep its original aspect ratio so that it does not distort. As you can see here, you can also import videos using the Add Image icon. Now let's select our logo and click on the Add Content at the bottom. Now once our logo is in our message, we can resize it if we want by clicking on the middle of the bounding box and dragging it out. If you notice, this logo has an alpha channel. An alpha channel is a transparent background. It will allow whatever is underneath to show through. In this case, that is our textured background. The only file type that Banner will recognize an alpha channel on is a PNG file. So if this was a JPEG, you would see a white box around the edges of this logo. You can also position this image wherever you want on the canvas just by clicking on it and dragging it around. If you want to scale your image without distorting it, simply click on one of the corners of the bounding box here, as you can see. I actually want to keep the logo big, so I'm going to size it up and move it over to the edge of my message. Let's put in some text. We are going to click on the Add Text icon. Here is our text right here. Let's move it over so we can see what we are doing here. We can edit the text by double-clicking on it. Now we can type whatever we want. Let's see, how about lunch special? That really doesn't look very good just yet, so let's work on some of the text properties such as color, size, and font. I'm going to start making my text larger by clicking on the edge of its bounding box and dragging it out. If you click on the top handlebar, you can also rotate your text. I just want my text to be straight, and I'm going to move it right up here. If we click on the text properties icon on the upper right, you will see there are a lot of things we can change about our text. We can change the alignment, we can change the color using a picker, or we can enter a RGB value or an exact color. Now to make the text stand out a bit more, let's just add a stroke. Again, you can use the color picker or put an RGB value. I'm going to use white because it matches the logo. And let's make that stroke just a bit bigger. Right here you can change your font. I'm going to use the Lazier font because it is a nice big and bold font that is easy to read. Again, you can scale the font by dragging the corner of the bounding box, or you can select an exact font size here. I am going to set it at 30. That looks pretty good, but obviously that is not all I want it to say. So to add more text, I can come over here and click on the Add Text icon again. Now I have a new line that if I want it to match the first line, I will need to again set the color, stroke, size, and fonts. But there is an easier way. Let's click on the layer icon and delete this layer of text by making sure we are selected on the right layer and then selecting the trash can on the right. Now let's select our first text layer and hold down the Ctrl and C button. This will copy the text layer. Now hold down the Ctrl and V button. As you can see, it then pastes an exact copy of our text layer. This way, we don't have to reset all the text properties to match the first layer. All we need to do is double-click it and change what it says to pizza and drink. Then from here, we can make any necessary changes we want to this text. Now I'm going to create one more layer, so again, copy and paste. And let's bring it down here and change it to $4.99. Let's make it just a bit bigger and make the stroke a little heavier. I'm going to drag this out just a bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's save it by clicking on the Save icon in the top right corner. Now if we go back and look in our content library, you will see there is our new message. But what if in the future inflation kicks in and we have to change the price to $5.99? Well, not to worry. Just click on the Edit button and we can go right back in and change it from $4.99 to $5.99. Click on Save and now it is at the new price. Let's create another message that catches the eye with a little bit of movement by adding some text animation in it. I'm going to call this file Winter Coat Sale. Again, I want to start with the background, but instead of a still image, I want to use a video background. So to do that, we will need to click on the Add Image icon. Now this video was downloaded earlier from the stock library. We will show you how to download those in another video. So I'm going to select Upload my file, and I want to bring in this 25% off file. Because it is a video, and it is a larger file size, it may take a little bit longer to load. Okay, now if I select the videos filter, we can see it right here. Let's select it and click on the Add Content button. Now it may appear like nothing happened, but it is there. The editor has not yet played it. To get a better idea of what we are working with, I'm going to click on the preview icon on the right. This will now start playing the video we just brought in. Now this video is 18 seconds long, but for the first 9 seconds it is just blank so that we can add our own text right on top of it. The last 9 seconds of the animation has the 25% off, so we are going to animate our text on, and then we have to have it animate off before the starburst comes on. If you look over on the right, it preset the duration to 18 seconds, because that is how long the video is. If we change this value, it will either add black to the end or cut off the end of the video, depending on if we shorten or lengthen the video. Let's add our first layer of text. I'm going to put in winter coat. And we are going to need to change that to white so we can see it. It is always a good idea to have a lot of contrast between your text and background. So I am also going to add a stroke to help the text really stand out. If we want to, we can always italicize or bold this font. Now I'm going to make this a very bold font by changing it. Now let's make it bigger. Sometimes it is just easier to scale it using the bounding box instead of setting the font size. That's better. It is a bit hard to read, so I'm going to remove the bold. Now let's add the second layer of text. Again, I'm going to copy and paste this layer of text. I'm going to double click so I can change it to say sale. Now we can drag this out and make it bigger. Because this text is so much bigger, I am going to increase the stroke width so it stands out even more. Now we get to the fun part. We get to set the timing on our text. We don't want the text to be up the entire length of the animation. No, we want the text to come off before the starburst comes on. So let's create some motion to this text by selecting an appear and a disappear effect. As you can see, there are a few effects that you can choose from. I'm going to select slide down for my appear effect. The start time is a setting that tells the text when to start the effect, and because I want this to slide down right at the beginning of the video, I will put a start time of 0. On the disappear, I will set it to slide down as well. I want the background to play for about 7 seconds before it slides off. Remember, the starburst comes on around 9 seconds. So, with a hold of 7, it should go off just before the starburst comes on. We can also set the animation speed. This tells the text how fast to slide down. I'm just going to keep that at normal. Now for the second layer of text, let's just do the same thing and enter the same values. Before we save this message, let's preview to make sure everything looks good on the timing by clicking on the preview icon. There they are, sliding onto our message. Now they stay there for 7 seconds and then there they go. I don't particularly like how the text overlapped each other during the transition, so I'm going to go back and change some of the start times. I think that the sale text worked pretty well, but I think the winter coat came on a little too soon and also went off a little too soon. So I'm going to add half a second to both start times on the winter coat layer. This way the winter coat will be delayed both coming on and going off by half a second just behind the sale layer. Let's take a look at it now. Yeah, I think that works much better. I think this message is now done, so I'm going to save it by clicking on the save icon. It should now be in our content library. Let's go back and double check that it is there. Sure enough, there it is. I want to show you how to create one more message, and that is a time and temperature message. So let's create a new message and name it Time Temp. Again, I want to use a video background for this message instead of a still image. So let's click on the Add Image icon and then Upload your file. Here's my Time Temp video. I'm going to select that and click Open. It doesn't appear to have loaded, but if you click on the Videos icon on the right, you will see there it is. I'm going to select it and click on the Add Content. If you look, you can see that when you bring in a background using the Add Image, it does not auto-scale. Obviously, we don't want this white bar here, so let's go back and stretch it out to get rid of the white bar. Now let's add the actual time and temperature. Let's start by clicking on the time icon over here on the left-hand side. As you can see, it adds a time widget on our message. This is hard to read, so let's go over to our text icon and change the color to white. From here, we can also change the font and the font size. But again, I prefer to scale the text using the bounding box. Now, you're going to want to make sure that you don't make your time too big or too small if you have a placeholder in your background like I do, because the amount of the area time takes up will change when it goes from, say, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. If we go back to the layer icon, we can make some format changes. If you select the time format drop-down, you will see some of the options that are available. For example, if you want to change this to military time, you would just select the uppercase hours, hours, minutes, minutes, without the AM, PM on the end. You can also remove the AM, PM on the end by selecting the lowercase hours, hours, minutes, minutes. You can also have it display the date instead of the time. And with the day, there are a few different format options as well. You can have it show month, day, year. You can have it show the year with all 4 digits instead of just 2. Or you can have it display day, month, year. I'm going to put it back to time. For the temperature, it is pretty much the same thing, but you're going to click on this weather icon. Let's move that to our second placeholder as well. I'm going to change this to white as well, and let's make it just a bit bigger. Now, it is not 99 degrees where I am right now, but the software uses the 99 as a placeholder. When this goes out and plays on the sign, it will replace the 99 with the actual current temperature. For the formatting options, you can have this display in Celsius or Fahrenheit. You can also have it display the current weather condition instead of temperature. So right now, because it is sunny, it will show a sun. But if it is cloudy at the sign's location, instead of showing a sun, it will display a cloud, and so on and so forth, depending on what the weather is like. You can have both the weather and the temperature. You just need to add another widget and scale them to both fit inside the placeholder. If you are running temperature or weather, it is critical that the location of the sign is correct in the My Displays icon, because the banner software will display the weather and temperature for the location that is listed in My Displays. So let's save this and go back to our dashboard. Now let's select the My Displays icon, and there is the location. If this is not displaying the correct location of your sign, please give our service department a call and they will update the location for you so your signs display the correct temperature and weather information. Let's go back to our content library, and sure enough, there it is. Again, we can always go back in and make changes by clicking the edit button. The last thing I want to quickly mention is maybe something you have been wondering about. Where are all these great background files coming from that I have been using in this training video? For example, the 25% off background. Well, let me show you where you can find those really quick. If we go back to the Create icon, and instead of clicking on the Editor icon, we select the Creative Engine icon, it will open up a new window and take you to a stock site we call the Creative Engine. Let's select the Library menu and then make sure I only have the stock filter selected. Now let's go to the Backgrounds category, and you can see that there are lots and lots of backgrounds that we can choose from and use as a background in the banner editor. The best part of all is that all of these stock items are completely free for all banner users. As long as you have a banner account, you can download any of these stock items at no charge. On this site, there are also customizable templates that can be used to create messages, but we will save that for another video. The Creative Engine video will show you how to use the customizable templates and how to download the stock media directly into your content library. So I would really recommend taking a look at that video as well. If this is all just too much for you and you don't want to even mess with creating your own messages, we do offer a service where a professional graphic designer or animator will create your messages for you. This is a paid-for service, and if you go to the pricing menu up at the top of the page, you can see some of the plans that we offer. We have 3 different levels depending on how many bespoke or professionally tailor-made messages you would like created each month. We also have Plus plans that include scheduling messages on your sign as well. If you have any questions, or if you, for any reason, get stuck making a message, please feel free to reach out to us for additional help. If we go back to the Banner CMS tab and then select the Help icon on the left, you will see our phone number, email, and you can go back and re-watch any of our training videos. I hope this video was helpful, and thank you for watching.